Hi, it's Bowman. Welcome to my video lesson for Gigantactis by the amazing Mark Lettieri. For this track we're going to be getting down low on the baritone guitar, but don't worry if you don't have one. I'll also show you how you can play this in standard tuning, obviously in a different key, but also how you can play it in standard tuning if you've got a drop pedal or some kind of harmonizer. So there are some great riffs and licks in here that you can reapply even if you don't have a baritone guitar. Let's have a quick listen. I've been a big fan of Mark's for a long time and I've covered some of his stuff in the Fearless Flyers lessons. For some reason I've never done one of his solo tracks. I recently got myself this Reverend Descent baritone guitar and I absolutely love it. If you've never played a baritone, try and get your hands on one. It's so much fun. Really gives you some different ideas of how to play things, and that low down bottom end sounds so good. Once we start the lesson I'll give you a quick overview of how it works on the baritone and also how that relates to a standard guitar. So don't worry if you've no idea about baritone guitars. There's still plenty in this lesson for you. If you do enjoy the lesson, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There's also links below to my Facebook and Instagram pages. It'd be great to have you follow me on there. There's also a link to a donations button. As always, you can get yourself a copy of the PDF transcription to help you when learning this track. I'm probably just going to concentrate on the main riff and a few different licks in the lesson, but you can get it all yourself from the PDF. Let's zoom in and we'll get started with the lesson. Okay, so let's talk a bit about what is a baritone guitar. I must admit it's quite new for me, I'm no expert, but I've seen Mark playing them in the Fearless Flyers, and he also posts various Instagrams where he's jamming around on it, and I always thought it sounded pretty cool, so I wanted to give it a go myself. So I got myself this Reverend Descent, which I could highly recommend for the price. It's great value, feels amazing, sounds amazing. So good in fact I might even look at the standard version of it. But essentially a baritone is kind of halfway between a standard guitar and a bass guitar. The neck is a bit longer, the strings are a bit thicker, because it's tuned down from a normal 6-string. As with a normal 6-string you can tune it in different ways, but I guess the standard baritone, you attune your bottom string, is tuned down to a B. So 5 semitones or a perfect fourth down from a standard guitar E. So standard guitar, got one over here, that's your bottom E. This is tuned down to a B. And then you've got an E string, A string, D string, F sharp, and a B on the top. So the F sharp is there to make it the same fingerings as a standard guitar. So if you think between your G and your B string, you've got that kind of major third difference. You always tune it on the 4th fret instead of on the 5th fret for all the other strings. It's exactly the same here. So what this tuning means on a baritone is that you can play things exactly the same as you played them on a standard guitar in terms of the same fingerings, so chords, scales, exactly the same, but they're all sounding a 4th or 5 semitones down from what they would on a normal guitar. So if I'm playing that, which I'd normally think of as an A minor pentatonic, on the baritone it's actually E minor, so it's gone from A down to E. So it takes a little bit to get your head around it, but once you do, it's so much fun. To get that kind of low funky sound going on. It's also very good for metal, if you're playing a lot of the heavier stuff which is tuned down, to have that low B string. You can chug along with it, sounds pretty good. So if you do get a chance even in a music shop or something, you know, grab onto one. It takes a bit of getting used to. The neck is slightly bigger, the string gauge is a lot thicker, so it's taken my fingertips a bit to get used to it, but it is so much fun. So for the lesson and for my playthrough, I am playing this as Mark did on the baritone, so we're playing it in B. However, I did say that you can play this riff. You can also play it on a standard guitar, so let's have a very quick look at that by the magic of technology. Okay, so here I am on my 6th string. my new 6 string, I have to say Christmas has come early in my house. This is my new Music Man Sabre, which literally came yesterday, and I am in love with it. It is absolutely stunning. I tried one of these earlier in the year. There was a guitar show in the UK, I think in February, and they'd just flown the Sabres over from NAMM. It was the first time we'd seen them in the UK, and I got to try one and just fell in love with it. So I've been saving up my money and also waiting for availability as well. There hasn't been that many coming across with everything that's been going on, but I saw this and I got it on Black Friday for a very good deal. Look at the neck on it. Honestly, this just feels amazing. But that's not what this video is about. You will be seeing a lot more of this guitar in future videos, I'm sure. So this riff, you can take the tablature that I've got and play it on a 6-string. It's then going to be in the key of E, because obviously you've moved back up to normal tuning. Still sounds good, and there's some great licks in here which you can take and play in the key of E. Or if you have some kind of harmony pedal like a Digitech Drop, or I know in the Helix, there's various pedals that you can get which will take your original sound and will put it down to where you want. So I've set up a patch when I'm recording this, so I'm going to be playing it here in E. I'll turn the microphone off because you'll hear me playing in E, but it will come out, the sound will come out in B. Hopefully that worked. So there are different ways you can get around it. If you've got one of those pedals, you can play along with Mark on your normal 6-string. If you don't, and you don't have a baritone, still have a go at learning some of these licks. There's some really funky stuff in here. The lead playing that Mark puts here, it's spot on in terms of timing and the grooves. There's some great ideas you can take away. Okay, let me get back to the baritone and we'll carry on with the lesson. The track starts with a really cool little blues lick. So we are in the key of B minor, but if you think of your E minor blues scale that you're used to playing, it's the same shape as that, but it's turning out as B minor. So starting off in the G string, sliding up, 2nd fret on your B, and then we're walking back down. And then one thing to notice about this, see that little symbol above the tab? That is indicating that the 16th notes are played with a triplet feel. So it only applies in this track to the 16th notes. We're not playing them as 1 eander, 2 eander, in which case it would be straight like that. We're swinging it. Essentially what we're doing here is the 2nd 16th note of each 2, you are slightly delaying it. So it's almost like you're playing a dotted 16th note and then a kind of a 32nd note. So instead of it being da 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 da, we're going da 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 da. That kind of feel. Very scientific explanation there. I'm sure there's a lot of information that you can look up on the internet to figure out about triplet feel. But something that Mark uses here, Corey uses it quite a bit as well. Just gives it a little bit of a different sound. So the 16th notes here, and when we do the solo parts, that is how you need to play them. The easiest way is to play along with Mark, of course, to get that feel. There is a video of Mark playing this at home. It's not exactly the same version, some of his solo bits are different, but you can see how he plays this lick. He actually plays it with his fingers. This first bit, and then he's kind of snapping that bottom note. I'm just using my pick, but you do whatever feels comfortable. It's a real funky little intro to the song. And then we go into this main riff. So we're pretty much running down from the 5th fret to the open bottom B string in this case, or E string if you're using a standard guitar. So you start off with the open, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep it well muted with your right hand. I'm using all downstrokes. I think Mark's doing the same as well when you see him playing it in the video. You can see it starts with the 16th note, which is kind of again with a triplet feel. So it's just getting that feel of it. Rhythmically it feels strange to play this, especially when you then add the, which is hammering on your A string on here, or your D string on a standard guitar, and then 3rd fret on your top 2 strings. So kind of minor 7. A couple of different ways he's playing it. You see, the first time he's kind of holding on to those top 2 strings. Get your open D or G string in there as well if you want, but he's holding it on. Second time he's taking it off and it's a rest. So there's 2 different ways he's playing it. Now he's holding it on. Now he's snapping it off. So have a listen to how he's playing it. It can be quite difficult at first, especially when playing it up speed, to get back to there to play that. But it's just a case of practice. As soon as you've hit that, back to your open bottom string and then repeat the riff. And there's a couple more variations, so I think you play that 3 or 4 times and then we do this. So you're basically moving up from the 3rd fret, top 2 strings to the 5th fret. And then, now this is difficult. When you do this, it's very hard to then, because that is on the same beat as your open string. So you kind of have to forget that bottom open string. Just drum straight across. Best way to finger it I've found is to move it, put your 2nd fret, put your 2nd finger on that bottom string. So, and then move it down your 1st finger. The way I record it and the way I believe Mark recorded it, when I listen to it with headphones in, there's more than one guitar playing here. I think is one guitar part. The other guitar part is doing the. But you can do it at the same time. You just got to be very quick with your movements. You have to miss out that bottom open string, which is at the same time as playing that. And the second time he does it, instead of going up to the 5th fret, he's just going down to the open strings. So. Like that. Again, it's quite a jump. To get back to that 5th fret. As you're taking those off, to hit your open strings, and doing upstrokes for all of these top strings, you need to be moving your hand over so you can hit that 5th fret straight away. So it looks relatively simple, but it isn't in terms of getting that timing in the groove and moving your fingers around. But it should sound something like this, again played slowly. So take it slowly and work it up to speed. So after being through that riff, we have the first little solo that Mark does. So this and the second one are both very kind of snappy, punchy little solos. Pretty much using the pentatonic scale, a few blues notes thrown in there. What I would say is that keep it muted and keep the notes clipped. There's not a lot of ringing on going on here. And have a listen to how Mark's playing it to get the rhythm. Again, a lot of these 16th notes are swung, so it's not just one eander, two eander. There's a bit more to the rhythm, so have a play along with Mark. We start that first bar, goes like that. So again, all shapes. If you think of your open E minor on the standard guitar, it's now B minor for this baritone. Think of that shape. And then the next bar. So again, it's kind of blues scale. Rest. I'm letting those ring on. If you listen to Mark playing, it's very muted. That kind of thing going on. And then we're moving up here. This chord here. I think of this as a minor 6 chord. minor 7, the 6th added. And then you're kind of spelling it out with some open strings. Another little blues lick down here. So again, very familiar blues lick shapes, but it has a total different flavour on the baritone, and when you're playing it in such a clipped, funky way that Mark is doing, it sounds really cool. Okay, so in the next bar, so again it's that pentatonic shape. So Mark kind of putting some nice little melodies in there as well as some funky bits. Take it slowly, have a listen to what he's playing, but some cool licks in there that you can reapply. We then go back to the main riff and play through that again until we get to the second solo. Starts off with that chord again. 7, 5, 7. And then this cool little, almost diminished sounding lick. So starting off 4, 5 on your E or your A string, depending which guitar you're playing, and then 3, 6, 4, 7, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7. That bit there sounds a bit like a diminished arpeggio. This next bar is another cool lick with some open string hammering on going on. So you're hammering on, pull off, and then jump across to your bottom string, 6th fret. And then we have a very similar lick to the beginning, but it's slightly different. Same scale shape that we're using, but we're running all the way down that bottom string. We're not doing that. We're not going back up at all. So we're running all the way down that shape. And then on that 3rd fret, back to the open bottom string. And then we go into the middle section, which on the recording sounds very much like some kind of synth playing. I'm assuming it's a guitar synth maybe that Mark's got hooked up. When you see him playing it at home on his YouTube channel, if you check out that video, link below, you can actually see him playing the chords as well. So I've tabbed those out. I'm not going to go through them. The relatively simple triads on your top 3 strings that he's playing. You can't actually hear the guitar on the original recording, it's kind of more of a synth sound. That middle part ends, that middle synth part ends, and then we go back into the... Okay, and then Mark goes into the final solo in the song, which is a really cool one. I'm not going to go through it in detail. Again, it's not technically that difficult, but there's some cool licks in there, so have a look through the tablature yourself. It's mostly pentatonic based, but the way he's playing some of these notes, if you think of your minor pentatonic here, adding in some blues notes, you see in the solo Mark's doing quite a bit of things like that. It sounds quite exotic, it sounds really good, and the rhythms that he's using, pay close attention to those, a lot of rests, a lot of clipped notes, and he's playing it along again with the synth, kind of playing dual lines in it. Sounds really good, so there's a lot you can learn from that. If you do have any specific questions on it, let me know, but I'm not going to go through it in detail because I think you can get it from the tablature. Then goes back into the main riff, plays through that once, and the final few times it doubles it up. So instead of it just being, you're doing again swinging those 16ths. So it kind of really builds up. The drums are going a bit crazy at this point as well. And then it ends on that. Okay, so I've gone through that pretty quickly. I think the main thing that everybody will want to play is the main riff, but do have a look at some of those licks in the solos. Some really cool stuff in there that you can reapply. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the lesson and got something out of it. Any questions, just drop me a line, leave me a comment, or send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon with another video.